The Wellness Show, episode number 323.
Welcome to The Wellness Show, a podcast on health and wealth. I'm your host, Tyhson Banighen, the founder of the Extraordinary Healing Arts Academy. Join me as we get the latest insight, tips, and strategies from wellness providers, coaches, and successful heart-centered entrepreneurs, and much, much more. Good morning, everybody. Once again, getting on Facebook has always been a bit of a challenge, but here we are. We're live. And so good morning, Laura. How are you?
Good morning, Tyhson. I'm well. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you very much. Yes. So thanks, everybody, for showing up for this series on COVID-19, opportunity for planetary change and transformation. And today I really want to talk about planetary transformation, which is really, we know that real change is an inside job, but I want to talk about the outside just for a minute. And why do I want to do that? Because in the Northern Hemisphere, we've just turned the corner in that we've just come into the spring equinox. And so we're now, the light is increasing on the face of the planet, which is really indicative of what the COVID-19 is all about. It's bringing the light, coming out of the darkness as we clean up the planet and coming into the light. And of course, sometimes, it's darkness before the light, right? And that's what we're experiencing on this planet with this virus, is that it's the dark before the light, or the dark night of the soul, or however you want to, explain it that way. And it's also the time in which all the indigenous people said that in 2012 there would be major change and transformation. And everybody said, oh, well, we went to 2012 and nothing happened. So those Mayans didn't know what the heck they were talking about, because, it wasn't cataclysmic. There wasn't the end of the world. But yes, we did turn the cycle. We turned the cycle of 36,500 years. And on that cycle, the procession of the ages, we did turn the corner. We came out of the dark, and we're now, just like with the Spring Equinox, turning into the light. So in this first few years, from 2012, we're setting a new vibrational rate for the next 26,500 year cycle, which is bringing us into the light and alignment. So we're creating a foundation for the new earth, for the new civilization, for the new way of being. And so we're right on course. I mean, as Goldsmith said, the old order changes, yielding place to new. This is way back in England when they were when they were fencing the commons. And the commons was that all of the land was available for everybody in the community to be able to graze their sheep and cattle. And then the aristocracy decided that they should own it and fenced all of the fields so that the common people couldn't have access to the common land. So the old order yieldeth changing place to new. So that wasn't a positive change, and neither was the changes that we've been having on the planet. So since Christopher Columbus arrived in America over 500 years ago, we've been hell-bent on declaring that Mother Earth is dead. She's inert. She's not a living entity. And why have we done that? Why did the scientific revolution, and why did our culture need to do that? Because how can you mine the mother? How can you wound the surface of the mother? How can you cause her to bleed? How can you extract all this? How can you use her as a commodity? How can you rape and pillage her if she is alive? So we have to pronounce her dead. And so if we go back to women's rights and the rise of women's rights, it's no different than Mother Earth. Mother Earth is just the larger divine feminine that's been sexually traumatized and abused over the last 500 plus years, right? And she is a living being. And this is her time in which she's literally shaken her being and saying, enough of all this, right? I'm going to cleanse and heal myself. So just like the Me Too movement, that's happening on the human level, there's the Me Too movement happening on the divine feminine level with Mother Earth. And, as above, so below. So Mother Earth has said, okay, it's time to clean the skies. It's time to purify the rivers. It's time to shake off the the beings that don't appreciate me for who I am, it's time for a new way of people showing up on planet Earth. So this is the virus, right? And it's working. I mean, we're all, the more and more cities are shutting down, more and more people are coming under, almost like, there isn't house arrest, but certainly self-induced house arrest, or you're asked to voluntarily stay inside.
Well, California is under quarantine right now,
Right.
as of last night at midnight. So I think we are moving towards that.
Yeah.
Here in the States, I don't know about Canada.
Yeah. And the predictions are that it's going to be a lot longer than we thought we could be in for months. But the whole important thing is that what can we do as individuals to, in this time of transformation? And I think one of the things that is really important, we have a small group that will be gathering here tomorrow to do ceremony around our medicine wheel. We have what's called a Morning Star medicine wheel. And it has both the ability to commune with the angelic kingdom and also with the Mayan elders, the four directions, Mother Earth, Gaia, and Father Sky. And so we'll be doing ceremony. It doesn't have to be complicated. It's just paying respect to the cycle of life on the planet, life and death. And as we take the time to go inward and we align to the rising light inside of us and inside of Mother Earth, and we have gratitude for being one with it, then we start to heal not only ourselves, but the planet and each other. So I really encourage, all of the major monuments on the planet, all the sacred sites that have been created, from Stonehenge all the way through to the medicine wheel. The oldest medicine wheel on the planet is in Canada, in the middle of nowhere. And when you go and you look at it, you can see the procession of the ages literally in the medicine wheel. You can see how the degrees of change where the sun has come up for the spring equinox on the horizon. You can see for generation after generation after generation before the white man even knew that there was North America. That ceremony has been done in that same place from generation to generation, from generation. I don't know how many 100,000 years that goes back. Can't remember the figures, but we're talking about our concept of history is a white man's perspective of we're the greatest. In other words, we're the biggest and the greatest, and nobody could be as smart as us. So therefore, man was just a dumb Indian, or he's a caveman going around clubbing things, and he had no consciousness. Well, it's just absolutely incorrect. They were able to create all these monuments were totally aligned to the solstices and the equinoxes, where the sun would come off the standing stone and be perfectly aligned. And I'm working with my druid friend who, purple nails and all, I loved him. I really, really missed him. He was a big dude, right? Big guy. And he'd arrive, first met him, he had a big, huge hat on, and my friend whispered to me, if I was in central casting and I was looking for a druid, I would have chosen Ivan because he looks like a druid. He came with a big top hat, a big kerchief, and purple nail polish on his fingers. And he's like 6'4", right? And about 250 pounds.
I would mess with him.
I loved him. And he would design sacred sites. He would put up the standing stones and align them to the equinoxes and to the moon cycles. Why? Because they are like a cosmic clock that remind us of our connection to nature. There's no way we can separate from nature. It's impossible to do that. The irony of our scientific rational approach that nature is a commodity to be exploded is absolutely, it's a dead end. And that's what we're facing now, is that all of the systems that are not aligned with the evolutionary consciousness of Gaia will self-destruct. I wrote about this in the 70s as foregone conclusion. It takes so much energy to maintain a toxic system because you have to keep propping it up. If it's in harmony with nature, all of the evolutionary energy of nature supports it. And so it's sustainable, right? Does that make sense? If
Absolutely.
you're coming from your human mind consciousness and you're creating something that's not aligned with nature, you're forcing something that's contrary to the evolutionary consciousness. It's going to take a lot of effort to do that, right?
Right.
When you align with nature, you have ease and grace. Nature just abides and wants to give you. I mean, the whole thing is nature is abundant and has enough to support every human being on this planet. There is no such thing as scarcity. It's a false creation of the human mind consciousness that we have to work and we have to struggle and we have to do all this in order to sustain itself. It's not true. It's not true. It's an illusion. It's a mind control. And so if we could just take this time this weekend to do ceremony, I don't really mind what it is you do, whether it's you take a walk in nature, you go hug a tree, you talk to a tree, you go meditate in nature, but be outside. Do something outside. And while you're there and while you're meditating, please apologize to Mother Earth on behalf of humanity. It would go something like this. Dear Mother Gaia, I understand that humans are not too bright. And I apologize on behalf of humanity and my own insensitivity for treating you as a commodity. That every time I shop and every time I buy comes from you and I don't pay it respect. I don't say 995. I don't bless it. I don't honor you as being the source of all of creation, of all the material things in my life have come from you. And that you gifted me all this with no appreciation flowing back from me, with no gratitude, no understanding. And I apologize for that. And I want to open my heart to you, Divine Mother, and I want to give back my energy flow to Mother Gaia and to Divine Mother to complete the circle, that cycle of life from Divine Mother through my divinity, through my heart chakra, through my gratitude, back to Mother Gaia, and Mother Gaia radiating that back to the central sun, back to source, so we can complete the cycle. Because right now we stepped out of the cycle. We think that humans are unique. We think that we have dominion over everything. We don't have dominion over anything. We are the stewards. We are the caretakers of the planetary life form. What does that mean? It means everything is our responsibility. The health of the animals, the health of the trees, the health of the grass, the health of the rivers, and all of nature is our responsibility to nurture and sustain it and make sure that that divinity of flow of energy flows through all the meridians, all of the heartbeat of Mother Earth. Then she will sustain us. Then she will take care of us. Then she will nurture us. But if we are like rotten, badass children and we want to rebel, then we have the consequences of that. And that's what we're experiencing now. We're rebellious children that have no respect for our mama. And our mama's going to put her over her knee and give us a good paddle. So, yeah, so please go into nature and thank nature, thank the animals, thank everything. Just have gratitude, open your heart and feel it flow through you. Feel the sun on your face and, and the wind in your hair and taste success on the tip of your tongue. Just that connection, the breathing, life, the vitality in the air, the prana. Feel it in your breath. Feel it coming through your nose. Feel it in your lungs. And then exhale it and give it back to Mother Earth purified and living with that a brightness and awareness. So this is what I'm hoping that people will do to honor Mother Earth this weekend and for the rest of the time. And I was this morning, I was on Brocco. So Brocco is a gazer. Brocco comes out, he's a healer. And the advanced form of being able to be a healer is to just be able to be present in source consciousness. So the divinity flows through you and through your eyes, because the eyes are the portal to one's soul. And when you're one with source consciousness, with divinity, the divinity within you matches the divinity of creation, then you become that pillar of light. And so when he stands on the stage with thousands of people in the audience, he doesn't say anything. He just gazes into the audience. People look at him and into his eyes. They start to cry, they start to heal, they start to remember who they are. He doesn't say a word. He just stands there for a period of time. Can't remember what the period of time is, like maybe 20 minutes. And then he does this and he walks off the stage, and everybody has their own experience there, and everybody heals in their own way. That is the height of energy healing, where you are just the conduit of the divine. No words need to be said, nothing to do and nowhere to go. Just show up and be, and let everybody go through that alignment to that highest vibration, so they start to match his energy and start to do the healing, because he is the highest energy in the room. That's what we want to get to. We want everybody to be able to be a pillar of light. We want you to shine forth in your gratitude and in your magnificent, because if you can stay out of fear and be in that pillar of light, letting the light flow through you, through your crown chakra and ground it to the earth, then you are like Brocco. You are everything you touch, everything you think of, every footprint you take on Mother Earth is a blessing, is a form of gratitude. And no words need to be said. Nobody needs to be convinced. No fear needs to be eradicated. You just need to show up. So that's what I wanted to talk about. So that's what I'll open it up with. And I don't know if anybody's out there. We have 3 people on the call today. Thank you, Edward, or Debbie, and Sandy for showing up. I don't know whether there's any questions out there, or if there's anything in the chat.
In the Zoom chat, if you want to read them, or do you want me to?
Sure, go for it.
In the Extraordinary Healing Arts Academy store, I'd like to learn more about the color therapy program by Elizabeth Stadniki.
Yeah, Stadniki. Okay, so the art of healing. This is her right here on the cover. She's in her 80s and she lives about half an hour from me. She still does the healing work. We interviewed her, and this book is out of print, and I'm going to try and get permission from her author. I want to scan it and put it into PDF form. Now, in this book, she talks about how she works with color. She doesn't really tell you how to do it, but I think I understand enough by being around her and having her tell stories that I think I can help whoever wants to learn about color healing to learn how to do it using her methodology. So some of the things that in here, I don't know if I can find the graphs, but there's pictures and they're in the course too. So, well, it's an online course. It might be best to make it so that you have a session with me, or 2 or 3, so that you can be able to, I can teach you how to do this. So of course, this is the chakras. So when she's using color therapy, she's activate each one of these chakras, right? So for example, she's found that cobalt blue, which is like the blue glass that you see, in bottles, that beautiful, beautiful blue glass.
Mm-hmm.
If you buy the stained glass, not the modern stuff, I'm talking about the old stained glass. The new stuff doesn't have the same energy in as the old stained glass. And if you take a square, and I do this, of blue, and you take it into the sunlight, and you look through it for a period of time, a couple of minutes every day, into the sun or into the landscape, it will heal your eyes. Okay, so I've been able to activate my eyes, and if I don't continue to do it, my eyes sort of go back to where they were. I do wear glasses, and I'm struggling now because I have a new clock and I can't see the numbers at the far end of the bedroom. So I'm really upset with myself. I want to get a new clock. Or the other way to do it is do these exercises, and my eyes will then be able to relax and begin to focus, and then I'll be able to see the clock. And the irony of this, and when it comes to healing your eyes, is your eyes are under tension because you're looking at a computer screen or you're looking at your TV and your eyes have become frozen. The muscles have been frozen through inactivity. So the Bates method is to use your exercises to move your eyes, like weightlifting. No, it's not weightlifting, but it's, you know, you're moving your eyes to release them from the bondage of being focused in one way. And let me tell you, when you're focused that way and under tension, you're actually in the way of receiving guidance, right? When you got your head like this and your shoulders are hunched and you're pushing the envelope, you are not in your true nature. You are in opposition to the divine flow, and it's going to be difficult. When you relax your eyes, when you pull your shoulders back, when you open up your lungs and you breathe deep, then the divine flow can start to move through you, and then the solution comes really easily. For example, I've been working on the Dowsing and Energy Healing Master Certification course, and I was working on it last week, and I couldn't get the last thing I needed to do to make it go live. It wouldn't happen. It wouldn't happen. It wouldn't happen. It wouldn't happen. I finally gave up on it, and this morning I wanted to let somebody know about the class, but if it wasn't up on the Academy, I couldn't give her the link. So I immediately went into the Academy and I went, boom, did it. I was done within 1 minute, which was taking me hours to figure out last week. Why? Because I had no attachment to it whatsoever. I wasn't trying to push the envelope. I asked Divine Mother to help me do this, and I got it done in a minute. So, I mean, that's a typical example of how I'm learning to get out of my own way. And so back to color therapy, just another thing around color therapy is that she's found that kids that are dyslexic or can't read, or literally the words swim all over the page for them, or they're in the reverse order, or they're dyslexic, take them into the store and go down the aisle where you find the colored acetate, you know, the covers for that you put in books, and take a book and just move the acetate, the different colored acetates over the printing of the book until the kid sees that all the letters stay still. Okay.
Okay.
And then they can read. Did you understand that?
Kind of.
Okay. So if a kid can't read because the letters are swimming all over the page, right?
Oh, like dyslexia.
Like dyslexia, right?
Okay.
I have mild dyslexia. Okay. Then if you take them and you go through the different acetate colors, you'll find the one that stops the letters from being all over the place and puts them in the right order. Why? Because the light energy from the color helps reorganize the brain in that part of the brain that's dysfunctional.
Brilliant.
Yeah. And
Brilliant.
she's
You know how many people we could heal with, I mean, children that are having issues with that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And she does this for children all over the world. She just did it for one of Sarah's godchildren. Did some work with them at a distance. So yeah, so these are really straightforward. That's the thing I like about Isabel Stadniki is that, you know, this is really straightforward. And she's a retired nurse, and she just wanted to help people and just learn how to do this. And she does radionics too. Laura, you know how to do radionics. She just finds the color, the vibration for every color, and broadcasts that color to the particular person. She tells us how much that color needs to be, or she'll take the actual color of the stained glass and put it on the radionics machine and broadcast the color numbers through the stained glass, or just take the stained glass itself and let it radiate to the person. Okay. And she tells us how much they need per day to do this. So she can do things. So anything that has to do with the brain, or the brain not functioning correctly, or even bodily functions, a lot of it can be can be straightened out by color. Okay, because it's all frequency, it's all
Yeah.
vibration. So,
Mhm.
for example, when I went to an auditory specialist and she tested my ears, she found that there was a certain range of hearing of sounds that I couldn't hear. So what they do is they then play those sounds to retrain the ear so that you can hear them. In this
Now these sheets, someone's asking where they come from. You can get them like at Staples.
yeah,
or-
yeah, they're just
Yeah.
any in any, what do we call it, drugstore or
What do they use them for
office.
normally?
Oh, they put them on, for the covers for I don't even know if I have, I think I have a clear one here.
For like folders and
Yeah,
things?
here's a cover. Here's a one that is just clear, but they could be in yellow and they could be in pink and blue and whatever. They're different colors of acetate. There's the acetate, right? Put that over the book, and if it's a color, the actual color will work to, and you'll know whether it's the right color for the kid. Really straightforward. Nothing fancy about this, right?
Sure.
It costs you
Yeah.
all of 25 cents for the acetate or less.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And yet it could do so many wonderful things in
Yeah.
just a moment. Yeah.
Absolutely. So
Mhm.
Isabel, I love you dearly. I'm going to hopefully get your book, get permission because it's out of print to, and we do have a video of her. So do take the course. It's inexpensive. Here's her diagram for the brain and the colors associated with the different parts.
Can you move it over more towards me? A little bit more. No, there you go.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't really see anything, but so what do all the different areas represent?
Well, one is, for example, elaboration of thought, and there's numbers for it, and there's colors, motor, supplementary, and numbers for that, and the color, voluntary motor, somatic, sensory, primary, colors for that, somatic, interpretive areas, hand skills, numbers and colors for that, Warnick commands, how to remove them, interpretation of visible information, and angular visual interpretive aspects, auditory interpretive areas, angular GYRUS, memory patterns and numbers and colors for each one of those, and primary auditory. So, and she explains all this. So Appendix B, brain schematic showing broadcast color, radionic rates, and Roscoe overlay numbers. She says it's incomplete, but you can, we can actually test it out. Is this number appropriate? How many numbers do we need to broadcast for? What's the first number? What's the second number? What's the third number? You can dowse that all out. And so, yeah. So the key is anything in the body that has to do with the brain can be enhanced or corrected by color. Actually, of all the organs in the body, they're all color sensitive. Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so take the course, and I'm going to go back in the course after today and make sure that you have 1 to 2 hours with me so I can help you out, right? Because it is an online course, and it has Isabel talking about how she does this, but I'll offer 2 hours of instruction as part of that course, so you can have some time with me. All right. So
Michelle would like to know, where do I go to access this class?
in Extraordinary Healing Arts Academy, and that's really, really long to type in. So type in www.thewellnessacademy.ca. www.thewellnessacademy.ca. It will take you to the Extraordinary Healing Arts Academy, and then look for color healing. Isabel Stadniki, Stadnicki. Isabel Stadniki. Amazing lady.
Very nice.
Okay.
And then we'd like to remind our watchers, that people that are watching, that with everyone home, your bandwidth may not be appropriate for Zoom. You may not be able to watch this even live. So we encourage you to watch it while it's after it's been recorded. And will answer your questions, so you can continue to ask them on here, right on here. Debbie is the one who asked about where the colored sheets come from, and she's having an hard time. It keeps reloading, so I think her bandwidth isn't quite strong enough yet. So
Yeah, not to worry, that'll be uploaded. We have my friend here, well, he'll be back on Saturday, and he'll be uploading these to YouTube, so they'll all be in a certain section that has to do with the virus, so you can watch them there. And they'll also be uploaded as podcasts, so all the sound will be available. They will be uploaded by the end of next week as well. And I think we have to go load up shows from 2018, but we're going to get them all back up on podcasts. There's
it's kind of like the all the sports centers. They're playing stuff from all over. Oh, it's so funny. Because they can't do it live. So they do have tons of stuff to listen to, right?
The fortunate thing for us is that, in your time at home, if you want to study with us, all the stuff is available online, and we are available. There's people wanting to maybe do the geomancy course, which is how to work with earth energies, how to work with divine, mother, and the angelic kingdom, the elementals, how to do house clearings and clear the land, and how to do create sacred sites and medicine wheels, and how to work with the earth, and how to do things in the garden and enhance your garden, all those sorts of things. What's permaculture all about? How to create a sacred landscape, how to arrange things in your own backyard so that you can have a sacred site. All of that is in that course, and we're ready to launch that and help you learn all this over a 6-month period. There's also the Dowsing and Energy Healing Master Course, which, by the way, I just got up on the Academy. I separated out the Distant Healing certification course. It will be a separate course with John Living and his book, but it will be part of the Master Course, but it'll be separated. So why don't you just say a bit about that for people?
About our class that we do every week, which is today.
Yeah,
it's so much fun.
And I haven't done my homework.
Well, if I've been a intuitive psychic for like 20 years now, and Tyhson has taken me to a different level of that by going through his class, and we get to do all sorts of new things that you wouldn't, just like so much information all in one spot, and you get to think of things differently and understand things differently. So where I thought that I wasn't ever going to find anybody to actually spark my interest again, I have found it here at the Academy. So I strongly encourage people to join.
Yeah, and if you can't afford $333 US a month, a lot of there's 43 or 45 videos, and there's some more I'm about to upload, master dowsers, and they're all less than, they're average like 2 to 3 hour videos, and they're less than $10 each. So for very inexpensive, you could learn the dowsing and energy healing from the masters without being in the course. I mean, we'd love for you to have in the course, but if you can't afford it, there's really a really inexpensive way to learn. And the exciting thing is you get to learn from some of the best master dowsers and energy healers that I've ever met. I know these people personally. I got to study with them, and I feel so grateful to be able to take that information and make it available to everybody else, because I would not be able to do what I do if I hadn't had learn from them.
Is it too late to sign up for that dowsing class online? Wendy asks.
Which one?
Hold on, let's see if she'll answer us.
Well, one of the things I'm going to do is I'm thinking for next Friday that we'll do a basic dowsing course. So I know there's over 100 people that want to learn basic dowsing. So I thought we would do maybe a 2-hour class. And I think we could do it really comfortably in an hour or 2 hour. I'm thinking of charging maybe $40 for 2 hours. and we just meet on Zoom on Friday, and we just work together and go through all the different steps on Zoom.
She's asking for our master class. Is it too late to sign up for our master class?
You know, that's a great question. I don't know. What do you think? I think that I don't have a problem if somebody signs up. You get 6 months with us. So even if you're in the middle of the class, we keep going, right?
Right.
So I don't have a problem with that.
I don't think that there's a beginning or an end to it, Wendy. What I would recommend or would say is that like having a basis, right? Like a basic understanding, right? What do you think? Like,
well, all those courses are available for the background, right? So, you know, all the basic dowsing courses are available for as part of that course. So you get everything. I mean, literally you get everything. And if you needed to do the background first, you can do that, or you can do it simultaneously as you're doing that. I mean, I don't think, I mean, if you were to walk in and listen to John Living talking, you don't need any background to understand what he's talking about. You don't need any background to understand what these Dowsers were teaching us. I don't think you do.
Right. I agree. I think
you just learn. I mean, the beauty of this
would be a good addition to our class, actually.
Yeah, I would say just, you know, jump in, and you'll have us around for 6 months, right? Every single day you get to ask us questions, and all of the recordings that we've done, if you have the time and energy, you know, they're all posted in a closed Facebook group. You can go back and listen to all of those. So you know, you not only get what we've done for I don't know how many months, but you also get what we would do with you. So you get even more. Understand what I'm saying? How long have we been? I don't even know how many weeks we're into. I don't even know how many months we've got left.
You never do. You're always like, what are we on? What are we on? Everyone's like, we're on week 3.
I don't know where we are. I just
you know, right? We're just having so much fun with it.
I just teach. So the point is that you'd have all of what we've already done, and I think that we're like 4 months. Is that an exaggeration? No.
Let's see. Yeah, 4 or 5 months. Yeah.
Okay, so we're nearly done. So you'd have all of those 4 or 5 months, plus you have an additional 6 months. So you're going to have like something like 10 months of information that you can access.
Oh, right. I see what you're saying. Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it would be fun and fun to have more people in, and we like Tony and I get together all the time, and in between classes, and we talk about stuff, and we have a great time. I strongly encourage anyone that especially now that people are in quarantine, hello, now's the time, people. Now's the time.
Yeah. And
here's a quick question though. From Tony, actually. He says, hi, Tyson and Laura. Do color healers use the same colors pranic healers use?
I don't know. I don't know what pranic healing is. I got a book on it here. Here's a pranic healing book here. So they use the same colors? Let me just see. I mean, colors are colors.
Use the same colors. I just don't know as if they use them in the same way. That's kind of what I'm picking up on.
Okay, so do they use them in the same way? Yeah, pretty much. I mean, a color is a color. A color is a vibrational frequency that's resonating at a certain thing, and an organ in the body is resonating a certain frequency, and you know, according to aligning, you know, the matching of energy to energy is going to enhance and heal whatever it is in the body. So I would say when I dowse, it would say color is color, and whether it's a pranic healing approach or whether it's Isabel Stadniki, color is going to heal, because, you know, independent of what the philosophy is behind it.
I know that that I've talked to anyway, that their color, what color means to them is different. So some people think this color is for healing, and some people think this color is for healing. Well, you know, are they wrong? No. I don't believe so.
Well, again, we talked about this before. I mean, it's sort of ironic when we think that our 5 senses, which are, and in that is the color band, right?
Right.
we can go down to we can go to ultraviolet and one and down to what is it, infrared. Some of the infrared we can't even see. The bugs can see it, right? That's how they zone in on plants. Everything has a frequency, and a bee is, on a higher frequency, being able to tell exactly when the flower is blooming and the time of day in which the honey is moved, or the honey can be extracted, right? Because if it's too early or too late, it's not the right time, or it's too rainy for it to fly. I mean, if you can think of I saw a picture of a raindrop on a bumblebee. Can you imagine a raindrop hitting a bumblebee? It's like, boom, like it's just almost knocked you out of the sky. Anyway, I have a love for bees. So anyway, get off on a tangent here. But it's ironic. I mean, the healing, all of healing is vibrational. Every bit of it is vibrational. Gazing is vibrational. It's only that some of the bandwidth you can interpret as colors so we can see, right?
Mm-hmm.
But so, and how people see, some dogs see some levels of spectrums that we don't see. My cat certainly sees things in the room I don't see.
Right.
So, and so humans we're not all the same in how we see color. I mean, some people are colorblind, for example, they only see in grays. So you're absolutely right. If somebody says, well, the chakra is only this color.
Right.
No, that's the color for you, right?
Right, exactly.
We can say that it's probably yellow or orange. We can say that, but what, grade of yellow or orange, or is the solar plexus? I don't know. Now, when we do quantum sound therapy, I can show what's going on in each chakra, and each chakra has a vibrational frequency. It has the actual smell, a tone, a color, a crystal, everything can be aligned to it. Why? Because it's all the mineral kingdoms all are on the same vibrational frequency. So a color corresponds to a certain crystal, which corresponds to a certain smell, or.
And that's why we as healers also will look at the individual and get the individual's needs. Like sometimes when you say, oh, here's a pill for this and it takes care of everything, I find that not everybody reacts the same way to everything. So that's why we like to do things on an individual basis and get information for that individual, because everyone is like a snowflake. We're very individualistic. We may have some commonalities in different kinds of healings, but we may not have, we definitely don't have all the same, correct?
Right, yeah. We're all pretty snowflakes.
Right, okay, here we go. What is it when I see rainbow starbursts around certain people? That's Jamie.
Wow, that's a great question. Yeah.
Right?
So in the Mayan, the whole Mayan cosmology, the rainbow aura is the highest level. And when you see a rainbow, so they call it the rainbow serpent. So they talk about the kundalini in the human body as being a serpent. Quetzalcoatl was a serpent being. He was a being of light. Quetzalcoatl was a Christed being, and some people even believe that he was Christ that came to the Mayan people. But they called him Quetzalcoatl, the crowned serpent, the crowned Naga. So if you go through the indigenous cultures in the Pacific Rim, you will find over and over again the idea of the crowned serpent, okay? So that's the light coming through the crown. And before it becomes pure white light, it makes perfect sense that, because white is, all, is bringing together the colors, right? The absence of colors is black, and the bringing together. So the highest level before it becomes pure white light is rainbow, because all of the colors of the rainbow. So my crystal skull is called Serpent Rainbow Joe. Why? Because in the back of the crystal is a fan that shows the colors when the light comes through in rainbow. So it's like a fan at the back of his skull. So if you see rainbow in somebody's aura, it's highly likely that they're at a high level of consciousness about to become a pillar of white light.
That's amazing. Yeah. And now we have all these crystalline kids coming in and rainbow kids coming in. Do you have any comments on those?
Yeah, I'm really excited. We talked to your friend. I can't remember what her name was.
Renata Sparkle.
Renata and Renata.
Renata.
What's that?
Renata Sparkle.
Yeah, you broke up.
Renata.
Renata.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
That's all right. So yeah, we're talking about the Rainbow Children's Network, which is one of my passions, is how to greet these children as they come through, because they are the leading lights. They are the next evolutionary step for the consciousness of humanity. And I want to create a welcoming committee for them, because and when I was born in 1945, nobody understood this kid. Like, who is this weirdo, right? He doesn't fit in. Let's stuff him in this box. No, he doesn't fit. He's complaining. So, people used to say, well, how are you? And I think that they actually wanted to know. So I'd say, well, I'm feeling this and this. And their eyes would start to roll. I didn't understand the social signals. They didn't make any sense. People were asking me things that they didn't really want to know, right? So I'd go to school and they'd say, oh, what do you, we want you to tell us about this poem. So I'd say, well, this poem means to me, blah, 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 blah. And I'd get a E-. Because I didn't realize they didn't care what I thought. They wanted me to parrot back what the teacher said, what the poem was all about. Had nothing to do with me, had nothing to do with how I saw the world, had everything to do with how they saw the world. And if I didn't agree with how they saw the world, I was going to fail. So I did a lot of failing.
Me too.
I finally, my best friend, he was really a brilliant intellectual. And he said, and I was working in a sawmill, actually on the landing deck, sorting the logs as they came in. And I thought, well, that's going to be my career. I'm just going to work in a pulp mill for the rest of my life. Good money. And my buddy comes back from university and says, I want you to come to university with me and be my roommate. I said, no way. I said, the last time I was there, I failed 3 out of 5 classes. Why would I want to go back there? He says, well, I'll tell you what, I'll teach you how to do it. I said, really? He said, yeah, I'll teach you how to do this. I said, okay, you're on. So the first thing is he took all this how-to books and burnt them all in front of me. And then he said, they don't care what you think. They want to hear what they told you. That's what you do. Now, on the last page of your essay, you can tell them what you think, okay? So for all the pages in the essay that you're writing, you tell them exactly what you know they want to say. And then the last page, that you tell them what you think, and you can get away with it. So that's what I did, and I automatically went to an honor student. I became the best parent on the planet.
That's all you have to do, right?
Right. So yeah. So that
I found the best students were the ones that could memorize the best. That's basically.
Yeah, my buddy has he was dyslexic, and so what he did is that everything he reads, he has a photographic memory. My uncle was the same way. He did like in his bar exam, he did like 98%, and they said this is impossible. He cheated. There's no way he could have done that. So under duress, they said, well, and he said, I didn't. They said, okay, well, then write the exam right now, rewrite it. And he did it, and he got very much the same number, right? Even when he was under duress. So some people, the way that they handle dyslexia and the way that they can only get through is they have a photographic memory, right? That's the way they store the information. And I can tell you pretty well where something is in a book and what side of the page it's on, but that's about as far as I can get, right?
Exactly. So another one of our listeners here at Bardos says, I'm recovering from a bout of food poisoning from a vegetable dish. Can you check the status of harmful bacteria? I'm treating with herbs and essential oils. All
right, so let's see on where you are in your healing crisis with 100% being done, right? So Eduardo, you are doing pretty good. You're about 75% done. So we got a little ways to go. So what if the food poisoning was an opportunity for you to get rid of all the other maybe deeper toxins that otherwise wouldn't have been removed without the food poisoning? So what if you can use those little bacterial guys that are making you ill to do some extraction work on your behalf? Okay.
A good
So
way of
for
looking at it.
example, with the virus, what if the virus is the fire, the inner fire of the cleansings that's necessary to purify the body, or the flu, or any crisis for that matter? Why not use it as your opportunity for transformation?
Right, right.
So in other words, I'm saying
That's brilliant.
don't fight it. I mean, yes, you have to do things to support yourself, but don't get angry with it. Use it in a, have compassion with those little critters that are helping you
Right.
to go to another level of consciousness. And know that when you're done, that you'll have the immune system that will be able to deal with this much better the next time around, because you'll have antibodies. So.
And now Michelle would like to know, how do you work towards being able to see others' auras, their energy?
Yeah, my shaman told me to go buy a crystal egg or a glass egg. Okay. And you take the glass egg and you put it so it blocks out the person, but on the edge of the glass of the egg you can see the colors.
Oh, that's really, yeah, that makes
Okay.
sense. Yeah.
Another thing is take the person and put them against black felt. Okay.
Oh,
Anything
yeah.
that's black. And because it cancels out them, and then you can see the color of their aura. And the more that you do that and play with that, the easier it becomes. And also for some of us, I don't see, I feel. So I would feel that it would be red or yellow or whatever.
Mhm.
I would get the
That's
color.
a little bit harder to teach people how to do, though.
No, but I'm just saying, well, actually, I think it's a lesser ability than being able to see the color. So what I'm saying, some of you may not see the color, but you may intuit the color, and that's okay.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. It's just harder to explain, I think. That you
Yeah,
get
if you
feel the color.
feel
Yeah.
that it's yellow or it's green, then know that it's yellow or green, just because you don't see it, right?
Right. And what's fun is, like, if you take people who know what their aura color is generally, and then you say it, then you can get that where I feel like you're kind of green and yellow. Like, oh yeah, that's what other people have seen, or whatever, where they can give you that feedback.
Yeah, because there are programs which will show you the aura colors. So some
Yeah.
people do know what their auras are because they've seen that printout. So that's a way to confirm that you're on track. But try it with a black background. It's really quite fun, and you can pick it up fairly quickly, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Now,
Great question.
Janie, the one Simmons who actually started this whole conversation about our auras, said it's so shiny. So she was telling us how she can see rainbows around some people, and she said sometimes I've seen giant crystals behind them. Wow.
Well, yeah. I would say if you saw giant crystals behind them, I'd be inclined to say they're highly likely that they're Atlantean, because we were the most advanced, that civilization was the most advanced in using crystals for healing.
That's true.
And, the destruction of Atlantis was because of the misuse of crystals, right?
Yeah.
Even the whole power plant, whereas we're using nuclear, which is the dumbest thing to be able to use nuclear fusion to fuel the planet. I mean, it's absolutely insane, but then anyway, I'm digress. But in Atlantis, they used the power of the crystal, right? And that's why on the top of the pyramid, that used to be crystal as well. So the point I'm trying to make is that the destruction of Atlantis was the misuse of the crystalline energy. Right. So if you're seeing crystals behind a person, they were most likely involved in that. So for example, I've been told that I wasn't one of the healers. So if you were sick in Atlantis, you would go to the Crystal Palace, and they would then align you to your original blueprint with the crystal that was right for you. And you can do this even in standing stones. If you go to a standing stones that are all in a circle, and they're all aligned to the energy of the rising and equinoxes and the solstice and the moon cycles, then you can find the actual standing stone that will be the right vibrational frequency for you to do the healing or the birthing or the whatever intention that it is, or the download that you need to, you will be able to be in harmonic resonance with that. So the same thing in the crystal palace in Atlantis, as they would find a crystal with the right resonant frequency to do the healing, and that's how you would be healed. It would all be done by the crystalline frequency. Anyway, I've been told, and I don't have the necessary memory of it, that I was one of the greeters. So as you came to that, I would say, so what's going on with you? And I'd be the one that would direct them to the different chambers and those that were able to do the healings.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I think that would mean, is that and when I'm in I've been trained as a Mayan shaman, and I've been a shaman lifetime after lifetime, and doing a birth chart with my shaman. He says, you've been doing this life after life after life after life as a shaman.
Mm-hmm.
So when I go and work at a sacred site in the Yucatan, I'm talking to the Lords of Light.
Mm-hmm.
There's the beings that are still there.
Sure.
That is the conduit, that sacred site that opens up to those Lords of Light, and you can have conversation with them. They're Lords of Light. That's how they're called. They are light beings. They are pillars of light. And I was just asked about, the calling one soul and becoming a pillar of light on the last call. And I just put in a little bit more detail in the dowsing and energy healing, what I mean by calling one soul and becoming a pillar of light. So you might want to check that out. There's a diagram I created somewhere. I can't remember where it is. I'll see if I can find a little sketch of, how you reach up and do it all. So that's becoming a pillar of light as well. So
that would be fun to learn.
Yeah. Any other questions? We're nearly at the top of the hour, but we're willing to take some more.
We're good for right now. We have a lot of listeners today. Every day we get more and more, so we appreciate you guys tuning in. I assume that we'll be back on Monday.
Yeah, what do you think? Do we need to keep doing this, do you think, on a daily basis, or?
Yeah, we're getting more and more listeners. They seem to be enjoying us.
All right. So in the meantime, don't forget you can send your questions to Laura, especially if you can't make it this time in the morning. We will still keep broadcasting at the regular time every Thursday. It's interesting, there wasn't as much traction on that show as there is on this show at this time. So it's sort of interesting. But anyway, we'll be back on Monday. We'll take the weekend off, and please do ceremony this weekend. Please be in nature. Please apologize on behalf of humanity, with gratitude to Mother Earth. Pay her my regards on my behalf. Talk to Father, Son, become the pillar of light, and ask that you be used. Ask that you be used to bring about the transformation that needs to happen on this planet. Ask to be used as a conduit of light, that you be the pillar of light between heaven and earth. So have a great weekend. We'll be back with you on Monday, same time, same place. Until then, be healthy, wealthy, and wise. Bye for now.
Bye.
For quality online wellness products, courses, and services, visit our sponsors, thewellnessstore.ca and the Extraordinary Healing Arts Academy located at thewellnessacademy.ca. To stay in touch, visit us at thewellnessshow.ca. And until next time, be healthy, wealthy, and wise.